So my vocation story happened just with a beautiful family. I think my family is a very important part of my story. My grandfather and my grandmother were Sicilian. My grandmother had 11 kids, if you can imagine that. So very family-oriented environment where there was always discussion on Sunday around a meal and around the priest's homily that weekend. And my grandpa would always talk. He was a World War II veteran. He was a great hero of mine. He would always talk about his experience of God in the war. He would talk to God. He would talk to Mary. So God was always very personal to him. And God was very personal to my grandmother. So I grew up, I remember watching them thinking, if they can have a relationship with God like that, I think I can. And then I grew up watching my mom. She would wake up crazy early in the morning, at least for me in high school. Well, crazy, it was like 5:30. Now that's like sleeping late. So crazy early in the morning, and she would pray to God. Like she would do her liturgy of the hours, and I always thought, there's no way my mom would sacrifice that amount of time for someone who's not real. And so there was an intrigue in my heart about this relationship with God that I wanted, that I saw my grandparents, I saw my mom having. So I used to go when I was little, make a holy hour with my parents and my grandparents. And I think eventually I began to talk and relate to God like they related and talked to God. But there was always some hesitancy in my heart around the priesthood. I think I was nervous about would I be happy? I was nervous about giving up things that I enjoy. I was nervous about just getting old and lonely. And I was nervous that because I wanted a family. I wanted to get married. I wanted kids. So I couldn't figure out how having a family, having children, being happy fit with the priesthood. Luckily, I think God sent me some wonderful priests in my life, some great associate pastors, some great priests who show me that priests can be happy. Like priests are human. So I remember discerning in high school the priesthood, and I remember I was very nervous because I was afraid of what people would think of me. And that may sound weird, but I was afraid that people were going to think there was something wrong with me. I was afraid that people would think, I don't know, but I was afraid. So I didn't go into the seminary out of high school. I went off to LSU and I studied there, but there was just something that was just nagging in my heart. I wasn't fulfilled, I guess I would say. So began to discern the priesthood. And I think what ultimately led me to the seminary and eventually to become a priest is this. I was grappling with the question of, God, are you going to be enough for me? That's an important question. Like, are you going to be enough? Like, if I give up everything, if I give up a family, if I give up children, if I give up my hunting, my fishing, my camp, all the whatever little dreams that I had of like what my life would look like. If I gave that all up, like, would you be enough? Will you sustain me? Like, when I go to bed all by myself, are you going to be enough? Like, when I wake up and I just face the day, are you going to be enough? Like, in my heart of hearts, when I'm all alone, are you going to be enough? And I kept asking God that, and I kept, the irony of it is, I would never shut up for God to give me the answer. I just kept talking. I kept praying. I kept like doing all this stuff and going and praying and like waiting for the answer. And finally, I think when I got tired of just asking and asking and asking, I think it was quiet enough to hear him. He didn't speak to me out loud. He just spoke he spoke to me through my heart that communicated to me that he has the ability to fulfill me. And I remember recognizing that. It was one day at Mass, it was after receiving the Eucharist. I was just overwhelmed with joy and peace and contentment, like overwhelmed, like cried for like 3 hours, overwhelmed. Like, God can fulfill me. God is enough. God is showing me that he can fill me with joy and contentment and happiness. And so that started a journey of like falling in love with Jesus and falling in love with him and watching him. And I remember reading the scriptures and like I wanted to be with him all the time, because when you're with Jesus, like exciting things happen. And I guess I saw the priesthood as being with Jesus all the time. And like, I'm going to get to witness beautiful, amazing miracles happen all the time. And I get to introduce people to Jesus all the time. Ironically, like as a priest, I'm married. Like as a priest, I have a lot of children. As a priest, I get to go hunting and fishing all the time. All these things that I thought maybe God was going to take away and I would be miserable. Actually, I'm more happy and joyful than ever. And I get to do all the things that I enjoy, but I get to do them with people, with my family, like with my spiritual children, so to speak. So actually, the priesthood has been a huge surprise for me. It's been a surprise of how God shows me that in a vocation, he actually wants to fulfill my deepest desires. And my deepest desire was always to be with God and to be happy. And truly, I believe like in the priesthood, he's called me and he's showing me that he can really fulfill me and fill me with joy. And I'm the happiest like in my vocation. So it's been a joy. I've been a priest for 18 years. I just enjoy bringing God to people and bringing people to God. It's really fun.